This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast. York.
Views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, you're encouraged to like and share them on Facebook. It's time now for Rudy Howard's African American Scene, presented each week at this time by Howard Insurance in Port St. Lucie and hosted by Rudy Howard.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Always glad to be with you here on a Wednesday night. My, oh my, we are still in the throes of the COVID experience, and we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. One of the things, though, I want to sensitize you to at the outset of the show. This shooting of Ahmaud Arbery was a tragic event beyond my comprehension.
This the one up in Georgia?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah.
What I really need for you to understand, and this is why I call it the African American scene, I want you to understand the impact that has on us as black people. I know people that cried when they saw that. It made me very emotional when I saw that. And one of the persons said it was like a old-fashioned lynching in broad daylight. Well, I have to tell you, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is you may not be African American, but the impact of that on us as a people is very, very deep, because you begin to have a lot of misgivings and concerns about what you do on a day-to-day basis. And it's not healthy. And I'm going to tell you that, and I said this to someone earlier today, this harkens me back to the period of time when Martin Luther King emerged. There was a feeling among black people that they had just had enough. And the Lord sent us Martin Luther King, who put us a blanket on all of that heat and all of that frustration and gave us another direction to go. I am telling you now, it's not a threat. It's a it is my thoughts about what I see happening. This is not good, and it's leading us to a bad place. I saw today that there's a group of black guys with AK-47s and AR-15s patrolling the neighborhood where Arbery got shot. I understand why. Do I think that's a good idea? No. But can I be critical of them? The answer is no. And I'm going to tell you why. When I saw those guys in Michigan at the governor's mansion with AK-47s and AR-15s, screaming and yelling at police officers while they had automatic weapons in their possession, I'm going to give you some insight into what was said among the people I know. If that had been black folks doing that, they would have been dead. There would have been a gunfight. There would have been a shootout. One of the famous pictures that I saw on Facebook was a guy with a beard screaming in the face of the officer, and the officer remaining totally calm. So you ask yourself, what's my value? I, an American, what's my value? I couldn't do that. The last time that was done, let me give you a little history. The last time a group of black people descended on the steps of the government in California, it was the Black Panthers. And you know what they did immediately after the Black Panthers descended upon the government? They changed the gun laws. Reagan changed the gun laws as soon after that incident. So, and then I'm going to throw one more little tidbit at you. And what I'm trying to do, I don't expect you to agree with me. I'm just trying to raise your sensitivity level and give you some appreciation for what I feel and many people like me feel. When I saw Paul Manafort freed today at 71 because there were fear that he might get coronavirus and he had some underlying conditions. And last week they declined to release Bill Cosby, who's 80. I had to ask myself, wow. You couldn't release Cosby. Cosby was guilty. I'm not excusing what he did, but so was Manafort. Manafort was guilty of a crime. And Cosby was guilty of some bad behavior. But I'll tell you what, on balance, I will take Cosby's contribution to our society every day and twice on Sunday for what he did for our society versus Manafort, but Cosby's not good enough to be let out. I'm giving you a window inside how black folks feel. That was an insult. People were mad about that. How can you justify that? He's old and decrepit. He can have trouble walking around. And it's okay to keep him in there, and Paul Manafort is released. Think about these things that I just told you. And what I want you to do, there's a movie. I'm a big fan of the author. Can't think of his name at this time. He wrote the book A Time to Kill. And if you saw the movie, Matthew McConaughey plays the lawyer. And in the closing scene, he gives this description of what happened to this man's daughter, how they raped her, beat her up, threw her over the bridge. And then he told the jury, imagine if she was white. So what I'm asking you today is let your imagination tell you how you might feel. I know that's going to be hard for some of you. Just imagine how you might feel if you were me with some of the things that I just told you we've had to digest, because those are not things that just happen in isolation. Those are things that have a profound impact on black people as a whole.
You've been seeing this kind of thing your whole life.
Yes.
And, at some point, it gets old.
Yes.
I think that the people in this country are waking up to some of this stuff that's going on. And the world is changing for the better. But on the way there, the route that we take, to that utopia that we wish for so badly, we gotta try to understand what other people go through, and you think it might not affect you. You might think it doesn't affect me. What am I talking about it for? It does affect me, because things do matter. It's not just a slogan, the Black Lives Matter slogan that came out of all this mess that we've been going through for a while. But we need to think. We need to use our heads. We got a brain. We got to use it. I mean, if we don't use our brain about this, things aren't going to get any better. And folks need to just start thinking of maybe helping make a better world.
Absolutely. The whole objective here is, I just want you to have some empathy and some compassion and try to have some understanding. If you can have some understanding and compassion. So, but I'm gonna move on now, and let me also say, there's several of you that won prizes over the last couple of weeks, a couple of books and a free eye exam with Dr. Irby, and you have not picked up your prizes. If you do not pick up the prizes this week, I'm going to recycle the prizes, and I'm going to start up my trivia contest, because the wonderful guy, Ainsley, that gave me the books wanted to give me some more, but I didn't even take them, because I told Russ, I said, I appreciate it, but I'll let you know. So I have an opportunity to get more books for you for my trivia contest. But so you got 1 week, and then I'm going to recycle those. And we got Winnie on line 1. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, how y'all doing over there?
Okay.
I saw that video on the news about that white guy. He was pushing that police officer out, and them police didn't do anything, just looking at him eyeball to eyeball.
Yep.
But they should get mad at the governor and to Michigan. They should get mad at her, because Donald Trump left that up to the governor to reopen and do what they want to do. He should get mad at her, tweet her or something, call her up, and things like that, because they not the police fault. But I heard that. I said, that was a blind person would have did that. He would have got shot and beat up and everything.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
That's true. That is so true.
Yeah.
Time to Kill, I saw some of that movie. That based on a true story that really had happened. That just a movie.
No, that's an author. I love that author. I read about 4 of his books, and his name escapes me right now. But no, that was he's a lawyer. He's an ex-lawyer, and he writes these really wonderful books. Like I said, I think I've read about 4 of them. I can't think of why. I can't think of his name. Somebody will call up and tell me his name. But no, that wasn't real. That wasn't real. But it was a terrific book.
Yeah, Time to Kill. Yeah. Oh, okay. That wasn't no true story.
No, he also wrote the book that they made the movie of, The Firm, with Tom Cruise. He wrote that book too.
Oh yeah.
I read that book. They actually did a pretty good job. A lot of times when they do the book, they do a movie of the book. They leave out big parts, but the Firm was a pretty good representation, and so was A Time to Kill. That was a pretty good representation of the book, because I had read both of those books. But anyway, go ahead.
That's for Lotus, like she's trying to do another deal or something. She want the people to vote this Friday or something. Like she's trying to do another stimulus deal.
She is.
Trillion.
Yeah, she is. She's trying to do another one.
Oh, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. They could pass that. Okay, we'll be talking.
Okay, all righty.
Okay, bye-bye.
And I have John on line 1.
No. A guy called and told us John Grisham was the author.
Oh, John Grisham. Yes, that's right. That's who it was.
My handwriting's terrible. Sorry about that.
Yeah. John Grisham. Thank you, whoever you called up and told me that. He must be a fan of John Grisham too. I love him. He
and a
writes
fan of the African Americans, and he's helping us out here.
Yeah, appreciate you for giving me that help, John Grisham. You're right. Wow. But anyway, so here's my topic for tonight. It's juicy. I want to talk about conspiracy theories. recently, I've had to deal with a lot of people and their conspiracy theories, and I got unfriended by a person I've known for like 20 years. So I tried to go out and do some research to understand a little bit more about conspiracy theories. But we got Sean on line one. Yes, Sean. Yes,
I
Sean.
was actually calling to tell you it was John Grisham. That was the first book he wrote,
Yes.
Time to Kill. It was an excellent book. As a
Very
matter
good
of fact,
book. Yeah.
I have a motto where I read 20 pages into a book, and if it doesn't capture my interest, I don't finish it. That book, I set it down after the first page and went, oh my God, and I finished the book in one night. It was an excellent, excellent book. I knew that Grisham was a great writer, and I've read everything that he's written since, but The Pelican Brief and
Yes.
The Client with Susan Sarandon, they made a lot of movies with him.
Yep.
The Firm actually was way off the book at the end.
It was. The end of it was where, because in the book, it's really exciting the way it ends, and you lost all of that in the movie.
Well, Tom Cruise actually the Tom Cruise character in the book takes the money, doesn't negotiate with the mob, so to speak. But anyway, getting back to your original, and I listen to your show on the way home from work on Wednesdays. We still have to get back to, and I feel bad that they're releasing anybody from prison, to tell you the truth, during this COVID. I'm sorry that sounds so hard. Paul Manafort did his crime. He took his risk going to jail. He took his risk in life, as well as Bill Cosby. And truthfully, that hurt me more than you could possibly know, what they found out about Bill Cosby.
Oh, me too.
I'm not going to accuse the man. I'm not going to ask him to take him out of jail. And I don't remember exactly what Paul Manafort's crimes were, but I'm pretty sure they were financial and non-destructive, other than he destroyed people's lives in a financial and way. I would guarantee you that the women that were abused by Bill Cosby would say there's no comparison when you come down to that. And I want to take race out of it.
Okay.
If they would just look at, I think both of them still should be in jail. That's the way I look at it. I don't want to enter race into it at all. They're both bad men. They did bad things thinking they would get away with it their whole lives. Both of them did into their age, all right? And they don't deserve yours, mine, or anybody else's sympathy because they're in jail and there happens to be a virus around. I work at a senior living facility, and I have over 200 people that can't go to a restaurant, even the employees, all right, to protect old people. We have no cases because we're following a protocol that our company has set. Why should I feel bad for somebody that committed a crime and went to jail?
Well,
I realize that there are people out there trying to catch the COVID now in jail. They're trying to, so that they can get released.
I don't know that to be I don't know that to be a fact, but that wouldn't shock me.
Oh, I heard it on the radio yesterday from a fairly reputable source.
Okay.
And it didn't really surprise me at all, because these people are, and I mean to sound hard-hearted. I think our justice system is, and not necessarily racially, but definitely economically, and that plays into race a lot, is slanted in its justice, all right? But that still doesn't make me say that somebody that was convicted, and I'm sorry, but pretty much proven in my mind, even though I wasn't an eyewitness, to rape, deserves to be let out. And we can't use that as a comparison to other people that are sitting in jail that are innocent because of their color, that should have been let out 15 years ago. Just because of the COVID virus, we're not going to make those comparisons because it lessens what the real problem in the justice system is.
Well, let me say this, Sean. I'm not going to disagree with you. They both listen. I was like you. I was one of the biggest Cosby fans. He's originally from Philadelphia. I'm originally from Philadelphia. I grew up. He was my hero. My heart was broken.
I wore his album out when I was a kid.
Oh my God! I loved him.
Old, and him.
Yeah.
Russell's head into the gas tank and saying, "What do you smell? Nothing."
Yeah.
Tank's empty. You know.
One of the funniest.
I used the line, I brought you into this world, I can take you out with my own son.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we all love the man.
But
right?
now, so let me say this. I agree with you. If COVID is not a reason for anybody to be let out, I'm okay with that. Then Manafort should stay, and Cosby should stay. I'm okay with that. What? Okay? I'm just saying to you that it wasn't that they let him out because they were diminishing the crimes. They let him out because they felt that his health was at jeopardy because of his prior health conditions and because of his age. Well, if that is an issue for Paul Manafort to be let out, then that certainly has to be an issue for Cosby. That's all I'm saying. But if you,
I agree with you. But let me ask you this question: what jurisdictions are they jailed? I don't know who's serving where, because you got to realize that all those are a regional decision. That's not something that's coming from the federal government that says let this person out and let that person out. So, I mean, we've seen huge differences between New York and Miami in the way it's handled. And I'm very proud of our state, by the way.
Okay. I think Cosby is serving his time in Phoenix, I want to say. It was at a more reduced security kind of facility in Phoenix. And
so to get a real reason, Rudy, wouldn't we have to look into who the ruling bodies are there, the jurisdiction?
No, I know, because
what their biases are or what their situations are.
What I'm saying is it's very simple. If COVID is not going to be a reason for anybody to get out, and it already has been a reason for some people to get out, then I'm okay. Cosby should stay. Manafort should stay. I'm all right with that. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm 100% on board with that. But if you're going to say that Manafort should get out because he's had intervening medical conditions that make him high risk to the COVID, then Cosby, who's 9 years older than him, Manafort's 71, Cosby's 80.
Yeah.
There's no justification there.
I agree with you on that, but my justification would not be based on race, age, or anything. It would be based on jurisdiction. There's a different jurisdiction out there that says Cosby should stay in. Maybe if Manafort was serving in the same prison, they would have kept both of them in. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. There's an argument. That's a plausible argument.
We have a situation right now where and I hate to use the term because it pigeonholes people, but God, you see their pictures. Rednecks shot a black man in the street.
I talked about that at the outset, yes.
I didn't hear that part of your show.
Okay.
That is where our concentration needs to go. Not two people that were, evil people, both of them, for what they did.
Yes.
All right? Both Manafort and Cosby are evil people that deserve to be in jail. They've proven that through many appeals and great jurisprudence. All right, both of them had the means to defend themselves with fantastic lawyers. All right, they were both convicted. We all agree that both of them belong to jail. They don't deserve our energy. What deserves our energy is to make sure that these two people that shot an innocent man in the street go and serve. And God forbid they get the COVID, leave them in jail. All right? Because
okay
they
with that.
deserve it.
I'm okay with
Okay?
that. Yeah.
That's where our energy has to be. It can't be on maybe somebody let somebody out because they were white and committed a white-collar crime, or somebody was black and committed a non-white-collar crime. Let's leave them both in, all right? And it doesn't have to do with white and black. We know that. It has to do with connections with Manafort and the political system, all right? And the people that, and I'm going to say it, Cosby had a lot of people cheering for him, hoping he was innocent. One of them was me.
Me too.
All right.
But I
And
realized
there
was a point. There was a point at which I realized that there was too much smoke. There was way too much smoke for there not to be any fire. So
I know.
Yeah.
It was just proven beyond a shadow. Let's face it. You know, I mean, and we've been through this over and over in our nation, and you know, what's his name there mentioned that we're getting better, but we're not there yet. All right.
Well, thank you, sir, for calling. I appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate your show too. You bring up a good, energetic conversation, and the longer that sort of conversation goes on, the better.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Okay. Now let me get back to coronavirus and conspiracy theories. I got interested in this because, as I was saying before, a person I've known for a long time got very angry with me because she was propagating that the coronavirus was not real and it was a lie. And I wouldn't let that sit. You know, if it's going to come on my feed and you're going to say something that I know to not be true, then I'm going to challenge you. If it's not on my feed and I don't see it, then I won't have anything to say. But if it comes on my feed, I'm going to challenge you. So as I posted on my Facebook page, if you don't want me to challenge your beliefs, then don't put them on my feed. So what she did, ultimately, she unfriended me, which I had suggested before the last post that I had made to her, that she might want to unfriend me because I just wasn't going to let that stuff ride. Because if you just think about it for a second. For those people out there, and I know there's some of you listening right now that think that COVID is not real. There's 184 countries with people dying and getting sick. How is that not real? How is that not real? That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Just use a little common sense, and it'll lead you to the conclusion that is a position that makes no sense. But let's talk about what I found. This team of Cambridge researchers, they went out and asked people and talked to people about conspiracy theories, trying to get a handle on why they happen and the impact they have on our society. One of the things they talk about here is one of them is Elvis is alive. That's an old conspiracy theory. The moon landing was faked. The members of the British royal family are shape-shifting lizards. I hadn't heard that one before. So we have these things that come up, and so we have these runaway theories, and you wonder, do they influence politicians, decision makers, and by extension, the public at large? And what effect has the advent of the internet and mass instant communication across social media platforms had on the spread of conspiracy theories around the world? Well, it's interesting that, so many of them pop up, especially on social media. Studying conspiracy theories provides an opportunities for understanding how people make sense of the world and how societies function, as well as calling into question our basic trust in democratic society. So I guess if you listen to what they're saying, part of what creates the conspiracy theories is a lack of trust in the democratic society. So, excuse me, yawning. The team's work suggests that online, as in life, we largely surround ourselves with people of the mind views of like views as ourselves. So effectively, when we do that, we partition ourselves from diversity of worldviews. Now, that is not exclusive to the internet. That is also a byproduct of our society behavior as well. If you recall, I gave you a survey, I guess maybe about 2 years ago, that said 75% of most white folks have never had a relationship with someone of another ethnic group. Well, I'm going to say with a brown person. That kind of freaked me out. I didn't believe it was that high, but that was what the survey said, 75%. So what has happened is these conspiracy theories tend to catch fire and spread because they're circulated among the people of like views. So as was the case with my former friend, she was uncomfortable with the fact that I was challenging her about her views of COVID-19. And her way of dealing with that was to shut me off. Rather than to entertain my thoughts and consider that there may be another form of thought, she shut me off. Now, I have a guy who I've come to like, who communicates with me frequently on Facebook. His name is Mike Zerga, I believe it is. And Mike is a libertarian, and he has a conservative bent, but he's very fair, and he's very objective, and he and I have had some wonderful dialogue on positions that we've taken. And I think he and I both benefit from each other because I get something from his view, and I think he gets something from my view. And that's how we can grow as individuals. But let me give you, I'm starting to run out of time already, but let me give you some of the 10 craziest conspiracy theories that I found, some of which you probably have heard. A new world order. More than a quarter of Americans believe that a secret society of powerful elites have hatched and embarked on a plan to launch a full-scale global takeover. These conspiring individuals plan to install an authoritarian world government using their abundant influence and ample resources, breaking down national barriers. And they estimate there's about 87 million people, or 28%, believe in this New World Order. That is a lot of people. And of all the conspiracy theories, while I do think that's a conspiracy theory, that at least that one, I can say it is at least plausible. I think as a practical fact, it's not doable because the amount of coordination associated with that, to me, would seem to be unbelievable. But what they finally concluded is that while 28% of people believe the New World Order conspiracy, another 22% have yet to make up their minds on it, which means, in interpretation, a full 50% of the population consider the idea to be plausible. I don't think so, but is it plausible? Yes, I'll say that, yes. Yes, I'll think it's plausible. Number 2 conspiracy theory. Barack Obama is the Antichrist. Boy, this really blew my mind, how many people still believe that. There's 13%, or 40 million people believe that Barack Obama is the Antichrist. How about that? And of course, 38% of those identify themselves as conservative, while 17% consider themselves liberal. So we have of that 13%. So of that 13%, 38% were conservatives and 17% were liberals. It really blew my mind that there was really that many people that believed that. That's like 40 million people believe that Barack Obama is the Antichrist. Now, here's another one I'd never heard of before. Lizard people run our world's governments. And it's like 4% of the people, or 12 million people, believe a segment of our citizenry, larger than the population of Ohio, believes that shape-shifting reptilian people control the world by taking on human form and gaining political power to manipulate our societies. An additional 7% of the population thinks the theory has some merit, but hasn't made up their mind yet.
That's part of actually another conspiracy theory, one of the UFO conspiracy theories of reptilian civilizations.
Yeah.
Somewhere else that come here. Well, the only reptilian organization that we remember was in the garden. There was a reptile in the garden. I don't know if he has any offspring, but if he does, it would explain an awful lot of what's going on around here.
Yeah. And we got John on line 1. Yes, sir.
Say hi, Rudy. It's been a while.
Hey, John, how are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm hanging in there.
Good.
What was I going to tell you? What's the percentage of people that think that Trump is the Messiah?
Well, yeah,
I don't have that, but do you have that stat?
I don't have the stat, but I know where it came from.
I'm just curious. That's all, and I want to know if there's a percentage of people that think that people are intelligent and have common sense. A lot of people can't handle life or freedom, and they get involved with cults and theories that are just beyond normal, beyond how can I say this, comprehension.
John, I had a guy call up last week, and he told me that Donald Trump was the best president we've had in the last 60 years.
Oh yeah, I see that on Facebook all the time. I tell them that you probably have no problem, voting for a dictator or backing, Hitler and the others. I hate to talk like that, but that's what I feel and that's what I see every time I hear him talk. And I wanted to tell you, Rudy, if I knew you were black, I would have had nothing to do with you. You know that, right?
John, you're crazy.
Wait a minute, John. Are you saying that Rudy's black? Rudy's black. I didn't know that. Here on the radio, we don't see color on the
Audience,
radio.
for those of you that don't know, John and I are buddies, and I'm actually his insurance guy. So
Absolutely. You're the best, Rudy. You did right by me, and I'll never forget it. You know.
yes, sir. Well, thanks for calling, John.
I wanted to add a little levity to the seriousness of all this, you know.
That he
Yeah,
did.
appreciate it.
And I can't wait till this hoax is over so I can stop wearing the mask and go out, you know.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Take care.
Okay, John.
Well, some of us need to wear two masks because of the folks that have two faces, they need two masks. You know.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
There's the fake mask and then the real mask.
And you know, it's funny. I talked to my pastor today. I was just checking on him to see how he was doing. And he and I had a good talk, and he was talking to me about how he developed a routine for day-to-day to get through this time. And then he told me his son Ryan called him up and said he had a plane ticket and he was coming to Florida. And the pastor said, no, you're not coming in here. And I said, really? I said, did you really, Vernon, you really? He said, I'm serious. I told him he can't come in. So I know it's tough. Hey, listen, man. I broke down. I told him today I broke down. And he said, don't break down anymore. You know, we got to keep you here. My son came by with the kids, and I just had to get a hug from my granddaughter. So
It didn't hurt anybody, did it?
No, man, but I got the biggest old hug and kiss and hugged her, and it was fantastic. And then afterwards I said, Brenda said, I'm not sure we should have done that. I said, I know, but I'm threw caution to the wind this time. But anyway, so here's another one that the government uses television to control your mind. And 15% of the people believe that the media, the government adds secret mind-controlling technology to television to broadcast signals within the programs, which will, in effect, cause mind control.
Well, they used to do that in movie theaters years ago. Remember, all of a sudden, you'd see a little flash, and there's some popcorn and Coca-Cola ice cold for just a half a second. It just flashes, and you get hungry in the movie theaters, and we put a stop to that.
Yeah, well, there's
subliminal messaging.
Yeah, there's even on LPs there was the theory about putting play it backwards. You remember that one? That was another one. But again, that's another one that there is some basis upon which you might be able to accept that, but for the most part, I reject that too. Then we have this other one here, which I find very interesting. The medical and pharmaceutical industries invent new diseases to grow profits. How about that? They believe that the medical and pharmaceutical industries invent new diseases to grow profits.
No, they don't need to do that. They don't have to do that. All they need to do is just keep enough medicine coming your way just to keep you alive, just to help you to survive and get through it.
Yeah, and we got Kurt on line one. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Rudy. I had to call after hearing that about the television with mind control. Only, again, adding a little levity, only if you watch CNN or MSNBC is your mind going to be controlled.
You think so?
Yes, I 100% absolutely believe it now. When I first heard it, I said, no way, but they are so in the bag for the Democrats, it's almost disgusting.
So what do you
Okay, but so what do you call Fox? What do I call what?
Fox. Do you think Fox is in the bag for conservatives?
Fox is probably the only one that actually still reports the news. Now,
That's
do they
absolutely
editorialize?
That is absolutely incorrect. 100% incorrect. Sean Hannity is not a news person, and he doesn't even admit.
I didn't. Wait a minute.
Okay.
I didn't. What I said was they have reporters at Fox, and I think for the most part they report the news. Now, Hannity and Tucker Carlson and some of the other crew, they are not reporters.
Okay.
They are,
all right.
They are commentators.
Okay.
Okay? But when you have a guy like that idiot Cuomo on CNN that has flat lied to the public about his corona thing, and then on the other,
Stop. What lie did he tell?
Well, he said he had it and was quarantined. He was not.
Are you saying
they had him walking out of his house, walking through his neighborhood, and the whole 9 yards? So he's phony baloney. He did it to get sympathy and ratings. And CNN right now, Rudy, you can check the facts if you look at the Nielsen reports. They are the least watched so-called news network. They have something like less than 500,000 viewers a day. Now, if Fox was so terrible, they wouldn't be the number one most watched news network in the country.
Well,
MSNBC is a disgrace. They've got that idiot Rachel Maddow on there and Morning Joe and that idiot fiance of his. They're not reporters, Rudy. When I grew up, it used to be, and I mean in generalities. I had a dear friend of mine that recently passed, who was both a TV and a newspaper reporter for the St. Louis Globe-Democrat. And back in the day, it was who, what, where, when, and why. And there was no commentary or editorializing. They'd write down the facts. They would put the facts in the newspaper. And in those days, they considered you a reasonably intelligent adult to kind of figure it out for yourself. Today, it's not news. These so-called news broadcasters couldn't write a story if their life depended on it.
Well, I'm going to say
writers.
I'm going to say
they
this
got
to you
writers
about that.
at the network. What's her name? Liz Carantes and Kelly Dunn and that group. They couldn't write a story if they had to.
Well,
they've got editors and whatnot that write stories for them, and they don't investigate squat. They're reading from a teleprompter.
You're so wrong.
And
you're so wrong.
And they're paid to look good.
You are so wrong.
Those reporters
I would tell you, if there's one thing I can tell you for sure, you can cause a lot of question about a lot of people, but when you deal with Rachel Maddow, she does her homework. She is as thorough and precise as anybody on TV. She does her homework. And if you ever listen to her, when she has a guest on, she usually introduces the topic. And the first thing she says to the guest before the guest gets a chance to talk is, did I get anything wrong? She wants them to correct her right off the bat if she said anything that was incorrect. I don't know anybody else on TV that does that.
Too many of these people, Rudy, do a show and they throw softballs at them. If you're going to have a guy on your show like Joe Biden or somebody else, they need to ask some serious questions.
You don't think
she asked softballs in?
You don't think she asked serious questions of Joe Biden?
No way, because
she beat him up pretty good.
I guarantee you, his campaign people almost dictated what questions were off limits.
No way.
I bet you, because if not, he's got some explaining to do, and nobody has asked the hard questions. Nobody has asked the hard questions. But he's too stupid to answer them anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
You think so? So
that man is a moron.
You think so?
That man has been in Washington, D.C. for 46 years, and he has done nothing. He has done nothing to exemplify him other than the fact he's gone along with the crowd.
Well, let me ask you a question.
He's been in the deep state too damn long. It's time he leaves Washington and goes home.
Okay, now let me ask you a question. We have a president that lies like people breathe. He's the biggest lying person I have ever seen in my life. There's other presidents I didn't like, but there is no president in my lifetime, and I'm 68 years old, that I have ever seen lie like that man lies. And he tells lies. He tells lies that you can check out almost immediately after he tells it, and he tells them anyway.
Obama lied too. Rudy Obama was a liar.
Nobody lies like Trump. Nobody. It ain't even close.
To be honest with you, I don't care how stupid the man's tweets are. I don't care if he
Do you care if he lies?
If he
Do you care? Answer the question. Do you care if he lies?
Not really. Not if he gets stuff done. We've got the best economy we've had in over 40 years. Unemployment, the best it's ever been. The economy was great until the virus came along. There's no other president in the last 40 years that's done what he's done in 3.5 years. And Ronald Reagan was probably the last best president we ever had. And you can say what you want to about Trump. Is he diplomatic? No. Is he? But he's a rough and tumble businessman.
He ain't no rough and tumble. He's a big, no spine, whiny baby. He cries and whines looking for attention. There has been. How do you think you can be president and not be criticized? You name me one president. No, wait, Kurt. Now let me talk. You name one president that we've ever had that wasn't criticized. He's always standing up there whining, talking about, well, they don't give me credit for this, and they don't give me credit for that, and they don't really like me. That's a whining crybaby. That's weak. That's not strong. That's weak.
He's a whiny crybaby, but I'm going to vote for him again in November.
Okay, well then you can vote for the whiny crybaby.
And that's the attitude of most Americans right now.
No, it's not either.
The Democrats are going to get killed at the ballot box in November. It's going to be a frigging landslide.
It's going to be a bloodbath the other way.
It's going to be a bloodbath the Republican way, I guarantee it.
I guarantee you not.
Pelosi's gone. She's going to be gone in June. Most of the people that have been up there for years and years are up, and they're going to be gone come November. I guarantee it.
No, the whining, lying crybaby is going to be out of that White House, and we're going to have somebody with some. Not unless
you talk about conspiracies. Not unless we've got something like a contrived virus or something else like that. You know, they couldn't get him any other way, so they built.
Okay, I gotta let you go. Check
into some of the investments.
You check with me. You check with me in November, and when they finish wiping the blood up off the ground from all the Republicans that got cut open, then we can talk.
Ain't gonna happen.
All right.
Ain't gonna happen.
That's how we.
Okay.
You have a good evening.
Okay, you too.
We'll talk to you next week.
All right. And boy, yeah, we ended that with a bang, huh?
Wow, you want to talk about heated discussion?
Woo, boy, I got a little excited there.
Yeah, this will be one of the most highly rated shows on WPSL TV on YouTube.
Yeah.
Lee Howard's African American Scene.
Folks, I'd like to thank you so much for tuning into the African American Scene. I never got finished with all my conspiracy theories. Maybe I'll give you some more next week.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.